Hey guys, Johnny on the trail here. Name's Johnny. Doing something a little different with the Great Smoky Mountains being closed due to COVID-19. Thought I'd take this opportunity for my viewers to get to know me a little bit better, know how I got into YouTube, the message I'm trying to send. I'm gonna start this video out like that, and let's see how this goes. Like I was saying earlier, I'm Johnny, also known as Johnny on the Trail. I'm in my local park in my neighborhood, so I thought I'd get out and take advantage of that. Beautiful day, beautiful spring day. How I got involved in YouTube. I bought my kids GoPros many years ago, and like most of their toys, they stopped using them after a while. And since they stopped using them and they were just laying there, I thought I would take one or two with me on a hike. And I started recording my hikes. Made some real crappy footage, really. They weren't really good at all. In fact, I was really shy. I was very, very camera shy. Didn't like doing what we're doing now and talking with the camera, talking with you. So it was basically just footage of me, or the trail basically, and that's it, nothing else. I just played around with those GoPros for a while, and then once that happened, began to get a little serious with it and thought, well, let's make a good video. Good shots, good B-roll. So I toyed around with that, and since then my cameras have greatly increased. I have many different cameras that I use for different scenarios. One of the many things that YouTube has really helped me with is to overcome my fear of public speaking, of talking or explaining things, which has helped me in my job, certainly helping me communicate with you. But more than anything, I really hope that my videos are encouraging to you and they want to make you want to get outside and be active, have fun, and live healthy. So I grew up on a farm here in Blount County, my sister, both and I, and on that farm we had lots of acreage, so we had plenty of fields and plenty of woods to play in, which we did often. In fact, every day. We played every day in the woods, camping in the woods and playing in the woods, building forts and houses and huts and teepees and all kinds of cool things like that. So it's kind of natural for us to be hikers. We went hiking with our parents quite often as kids, hundreds of miles with our parents. Just something they enjoyed doing, and they planted those seeds pretty deep into Sis and I. Since our youth, probably in our lifetime, we've hiked thousands of miles, which is really cool. So again, it's very natural for us to be hikers. So Dad and Mom took Sis and I hiking quite often. I had gotten out of hiking in college and was more running, cycling, those type of activities, rock climbing. And I was training for, I think it was my third marathon, and Sis kept asking me, hey, I'm going hiking this weekend. I'd like for you to come. And of course, no, I'm not going to go. I've got, X number of miles to do, 10, 15, 20, whatever it was that weekend. Usually Saturdays were my long run days, so did that on Saturdays instead of hike. I would go out, get up early and go for a 10, 15, 20 mile run. But Sis kept asking, was very persistent with her request of me going with her, and finally I had a down week and I got up early and went for a shorter run and met up with Sis that morning after my run and went for a hike. That very hike was the minute that the hiking bug bit me again. But yeah, I fell in love with hiking all over again that day. I've been back out there doing the same thing, hiking almost every weekend, or as often as I can. And about my running, I've ran 3 marathons, about 14 or 15 half marathons, countless 5Ks and 8Ks and 10Ks. I don't even know where that number is. I've ran a lot.
Now you wouldn't believe it if I told you
But I could run like the wind blows.
Still run, just not as often as I'd like. I just ran a 5K just a few weeks ago. First 5K I've ran in a long time. I really was doing 5Ks, and then I moved up to a 8K and a 10K, and I thought, man, I really love distance running, and so I started training for a half marathon, and I just love the half marathon distance, which is 13.1 miles. It's my favorite distance to run, still love it today. So anyway, I was running, and Sis got me back into hiking, and at that point I decided to give running a rest, take a break, and continue hiking. And so Sis and I had hiked many weekends before we talked about doing the Smoky Mountain 900 miler, and so it was something that we both had discussed a couple of hikes, and we got back home and looked at our maps, highlighted everything we'd hiked, and we thought, you know, why not? We've hiked over half of the trails already, so let's get the rest of them. And that's kind of how my 900 miler started. I'm really proud to have done that. I feel honored to be among the other 900 milers out there. Sis got me back into hiking out of running, but I couldn't get her back into running from hiking. She was a runner as well in high school. She ran track and cross country in high school as well, but I can't get her to run now. So being outdoors has always been a very high priority in my life, then, and it still is today, and that's probably why. So back to YouTube and how I got here. I started recording my hikes. My dad, who used to hike with Sis and I, but can't any longer because he's had 2 knee replacements. He's almost 70 years old. He still does hike, but he doesn't go out on the distances that Sis and I do. He'll do some shorter stuff. So I started recording my hikes, or our hikes, and Dad would be at home and he'd watch them in a day or two. When I got them uploaded and ready on YouTube, he would go and watch those. He felt like he was a part of the hike. He felt like he was there with us. We were just encouraging him. One of the things I get out of YouTube is I love to encourage hikers. I love to encourage people to get outside, opt outside, do things outside, go outside. There's a whole world out here of opportunity. Just get out of your house, leave your office for a little while, and go enjoy the outdoors. When I go to the mountains, I'm in IT. For me, when I get to the mountains, for me, it's all about unplugging. I'm leaving social media behind. I'm leaving my telephone behind. I'm leaving all my contacts, all the missed calls, all that stuff I'm leaving behind because I don't need it. I want to unplug from that. So by me being out in the woods, that's exactly how I do that. And it's good to do. It's good for my mental health. It's also good for my body, my soul, my spirit. I highly recommend you do the same. So go outside. So I want my YouTube, my Instagram channels to be full of good information, encouraging information. I want to promote fitness and well-being, a healthy lifestyle, and the can-do attitude. It's all about that can-do attitude. There's anything out here that you can't do. You can do anything out there you set your mind to doing. Rock climbing, hiking, cycling, running, whatever it is, certainly you can do it. So some of my other activities that I like doing besides hiking is running, which I touched on briefly. I also enjoy kayaking. Did quite a bit of kayak camping last year. It's where you load up all your gear into your hammock, into your kayak, and you paddle out somewhere and set up a makeshift camp. It's a lot of fun. And that idea came to me from my days of stand-up paddleboarding. I used to do a lot of sup paddling or stand-up paddleboarding. In fact, if you'll Google stand-up paddleboard Little Tennessee River, you'll see many news articles about when I did that back several years ago, which is super cool. We also camped off of the paddleboard. There's a little bit of room in the front and a little bit of room behind where you stand for your dry bags, and we would put all of our gear there and take off and paddle all weekend, and each night find a new place to set up camp. So kayaking, paddleboard, running, cycling. So when I lived on my farm, my nearest friends lived many miles away, and if we wanted to hang out and play together, we would have to jump on our bicycles and ride to each other's house, and that's several miles away. So I've always been riding bicycles. So I got a new road bike about a year and a half ago. Bought it from a friend of mine out of state. Since then I've ridden 2 Centuries, one on my new bike and one on my old bike. A Century is a 100-mile bicycle ride. That's in one day. It's an equivalent to a marathon, basically. So I've ridden 2 of those, planning to do a third this year if the COVID-19 stuff lightens up a little bit. We'll see. But I do ride 2-3 days a week. One of my favorite rides, though, is riding from my house in through Walland into Townsend and up to the Smokies and back. It's about, I think round trip's about 55, 60 miles. That's a great ride. Another place you'll see me riding quite often is Foothills Parkway. Whether it's the new or the older one from Walland, I'll ride both sides or both in one day. I did that quite a bit last year too. It's a great hill climb. It takes about a half an hour to get to the top and about 2 minutes to come down. But it's a great ride. It's a good workout, so that's a lot of fun. Some of the other activities that I do is rock climbing. I've really enjoyed rock climbing. I've gotten back into it in the last year or so. Did a lot of it in college. It's something I really want to improve at and get better at. I've been doing a lot more rock climbing in areas that in the Smokies that there aren't any anchors. It's like you're just hiking out and you set up your top rope and you climb for however long you want to. And I've been doing that some. I love going to the L-bed. I've climbed there several times. And Imes in Knoxville. Imes Craig is a really nice crag to climb. So I think you may see a few more rock climbing videos this year, cycling videos, kayak videos. You'll see more of those. And on the cycling side too, also mountain biking is something I've done since I was a kid and still do. I still mountain bike at least once a week. I love getting on the trails on my bicycle, shredding the dirt and shredding the mud. It's not necessarily say how fast you go, but basically more so for me for fitness. I'm riding my mountain bike for fitness. It's a lot more challenging than riding on the greenway or on the road, in the sense that there's more mud puddles, rocks and roots and trees. And on the road, the only obstacle on the road is the side of the road where you can run off the road. And you think about it, your tires are just this wide. And you run off the road, you're probably going to go down. And the second obstacle to road riding is vehicles. There's a 3-foot rule in Tennessee, and most drivers do not abide by that at all. So it's really difficult sometimes to ride on the road safely. So I typically have my GoPro on my helmet. I carry a spare one with me as well, so I run both. It's just basically if I get run out of the road by some idiot, I've got it recorded. It's for my safety. That about covers everything that I wanted to talk to you guys about today. A little bit more about me. I'm gonna get more into these since I'm not hiking because the park's closed, and I do support the park's decision in that, so please stay home. I may do some more videos like this one where I'm touching on a subject of road cycling or mountain biking or rock climbing or kayaking or running. Show you my gear, show you what I use, how I do it. But I certainly hope that you'll keep watching. Click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Give me a thumbs up. If there's a topic you want to talk about with me, by all means leave me a comment below. We'll talk about it. I'll certainly share with you what I can about that particular topic. I'm also going to continue my 3-Minute Thursdays. Hope you guys enjoy it. Thanks for watching. See y'all later. Bye.